My name is Bailey, and I'm making this video to highlight my trip to Sevilla, España, or Seville, Spain, in the summer of 2017. I was lucky enough to be awarded a scholarship from SCOLT, the Southern Conference on Language Teaching, and Centro, MundoLengua, an organization in Spain for students and teachers to study the Spanish language. My trip started, as most do, with an arrival at the train station. I quickly moved on to meeting up with my host family. I got to stay with a woman named Rosario, who was very gracious and kind, and I also lived with another teacher from California who was taking the same program. We would walk to school each day across the Guadalquivir River, which was beautiful and always a little bit different. Each day we would also get a schedule that looked somewhat like this one to tell us about where we would meet up as a group and what we would do. Most times we would meet up under the Giralda in the courtyard. Some of our excursions included things like the trip to the Alcázar in Sevilla. It was so beautiful to be able to see all of the large courtyards, intricate carvings and decorations on the walls, mosaics such as this one, and of course the outdoor fountains and beautiful gardens which we got to explore. Everywhere we went, we had a local guide who would come with us to share his wealth of knowledge about the city that he lives in. We also took trips to things like the Setas, a church in La Triana, the neighborhood across the river, where we also got to see ruins from the time of the Spanish Inquisition. Of course, we also visited the famous Catedral or Cathedral, where the tomb of Christopher Columbus is located, and the Archivo de Indias, which is where most, if not all, of the documents are housed from the time of Christopher Columbus and many other colonial explorers. Another place we visited was a very old hospital. This hospital also housed a beautiful altar, ornately decorated, and many priceless works of art. One evening we got to see an espectáculo de flamenco. First we visited the museum that is upstairs above the stage, and then we got to see live examples of all the different types of flamenco that we had just learned about. This is the famous bullfighting arena. We got to take a tour of the grounds and also of the museum, where they house many artifacts, posters, and uniforms, as well as other items. Another excursion was to the house of a condesa, who collected many priceless works of art over the course of her lifetime, which otherwise would not have been saved in a period of Spain's history when they were not interested in preservation. It's now open to the public, although it is still privately owned. Over the weekend, we were free to take trips, so I visited Rota, where I saw the naval base where my father was stationed when he was in the military, and I also went to Cádiz with an excursion group from Centro MundoLengua. I also went to the Acuario de Sevilla, or the aquarium. The aquarium is set up so that it follows the path of Ferdinand Magellan's trip around the world, since he started in Sevilla himself, and it houses many different animals and freshwater and sea life, which are beautiful to look at. When we started classes the following week, this was our classroom, and this was the building that housed our school. We learned so much from our teacher Laura, things that I will use over the course of my career. But we still made time for other excursions, like this trip to the Jewish quarter at night. We also got to see some artisanal workshops, including woodworking, photography, wheel-thrown ceramics, and my personal favorite, decorating with gold leaf. This man's work has traveled the world, including as far away as Puerto Rico and as close to home as the floats during the Semana Santa parade in Sevilla. I even got the chance to touch the gold leaf myself, which was very exciting. We also had the opportunity to visit the Centro MundoLengua school for high school students and see what it would be like if we chose to travel with students of our own. At the end of the trip, we celebrated with a rooftop dinner with our guides and also our colleagues and friends. As all good things must come to an end, so did this trip. But the things that I learned while in Sevilla are things that will help me over the course of my career as a teacher, and the relationships and bonds that I formed while I was there are relationships that will support me for years to come. I'm very grateful and very fortunate to have had this opportunity.